Gardening success is not about trends, hacks, or shortcuts. And if you've been gardening long enough, you already know that. What actually works year after year is built on a small set of principles that never fail when applied correctly. In this guide, I want you to subscribe to Evergreen Garden, leave a comment with what you're growing this season, and share this with another gardener who wants real results, because what we're covering today is the foundation behind healthy soil, productive plants, and gardens that improve instead of decline over time. Let's get straight into it. Healthy soil is always the starting point, never the afterthought. Every successful garden begins below the surface, and ignoring soil health is the fastest way to struggle, no matter how good your seeds or climate are. Plants do not feed themselves directly from fertilizer. They feed from soil biology, converting nutrients into usable forms. When soil is alive, roots grow deeper, water is retained longer, and plants resist pests naturally. A simple practical rule is to aim for soil that contains roughly 5% organic matter. If your soil is compacted or pale, adding compost at a ratio of 1 part compost to 3 parts native soil is a reliable starting point. This can be applied when preparing new beds or revitalizing old ones. Over time, adding 2 to 3 centimeters of compost once or twice a year builds structure without disturbing soil life. Serious gardeners stop chasing nutrients and start feeding the soil. Consistency in watering matters more than frequency or volume. Plants respond poorly to irregular watering patterns, especially cycles of drought followed by heavy soaking. Roots adapt to the moisture environment they experience most often. When water is shallow and frequent, roots stay shallow. When water is deep and consistent, roots grow deeper and stronger. A dependable approach is deep watering once or twice a week, depending on temperature and soil type, allowing moisture to penetrate at least 20 to 30 centimeters into the soil. For most vegetable beds, this translates to about 20 to 25 liters of water per square meter per week. Mulching with organic material at a thickness of 5 to 7 centimeters reduces evaporation and stabilizes soil moisture, which is really critical for tomatoes, peppers, leafy greens, and fruiting crops. Plants thrive when spacing is respected instead of overcrowded. Overcrowding is one of the most common mistakes even experienced gardeners make when enthusiasm overrides patience. Plants that are too close compete for light, nutrients, airflow, and root space, leading to disease and reduced yields. Spacing recommendations are not suggestions, they are survival guidelines. For example, tomatoes perform best when spaced about 60 to 90 centimeters apart, allowing airflow to reduce fungal pressure. Leafy greens like lettuce can be planted closer, around 20 to 25 centimeters apart, but still require thinning as they mature. Feeding plants works best when done lightly and regularly. Heavy feeding creates fast growth, but weak structure, pest attraction, and nutrient imbalance. Plants respond better to steady, balanced nutrition. Compost remains the backbone, but liquid feeds can supplement growth when timed correctly. A simple and reliable ratio for liquid feeding is 1 part compost tea to 10 parts water, applied every 2 to 3 weeks during active growth. For fruiting plants, increasing potassium slightly during flowering supports yield without forcing excess leaf growth. Mulching protects soil and plants in every season. Mulch is not optional for serious gardeners. It regulates temperature, preserves moisture, suppresses weeds, and, as it breaks down, feeds soil organisms. Organic mulches such as straw-dried leaves, grass clippings, or shredded bark should be applied after the soil warms and plants are established. Maintain a mulch depth of 5 to 8 centimeters, keeping it a few centimeters away from plant stems to prevent rot. Crop rotation prevents problems before they appear. Planting the same crops in the same place year after year depletes specific nutrients and encourages pests and diseases adapted to those plants. Rotation breaks these cycles. A practical rotation system involves grouping crops by family and rotating them over 3 to 4 years. For example, you might follow tomatoes and peppers with legumes like beans that fix nitrogen, then move on to leafy greens, and after that, plant root crops. Observation is, without a doubt, the most powerful gardening tool you own. Successful gardeners do not rely solely on schedules. Instead, they respond to what their plants are telling them. Leaf color, growth speed, flowering behavior, and even the presence of pests, all of these provide valuable information. Working with your climate always beats fighting it. Plants adapted to your local conditions will always outperform those forced to survive unsuitable environments. Understanding your rainfall patterns, temperature swings, and seasonal timing allows smarter planting decisions. Pruning and harvesting correctly keeps plants productive longer. Plants respond to harvesting and pruning by redirecting energy. Regular harvesting of leafy greens encourages new growth, while timely pruning of tomatoes improves airflow and fruit quality. Patience and long-term thinking always pay off. Gardens improve over time when managed correctly. Soil structure, microbial diversity, and plant resilience build season after season. Chasing quick results often causes setbacks, while steady improvement creates abundance. These principles are not trends, they are proven foundations that work in any climate, any soil, and any garden size when applied consistently. If this guide helped you, subscribe to Evergreen Garden for practical, serious gardening knowledge. Share this video with another gardener who wants reliable results, and comment below with which principle made the biggest difference in your garden. We grow better when we grow together.